فلتتجلى فيك سمائي شمس تضيء نار قلبي فلتتجلى يا إلهي فلتتجلى فيك روحي فلتتجلى فيك سمائي شمس تضيء نار قلبي فلتتجلى يا إلهي فلتتجلى 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 فلتتجلى.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are.
This
Welcome.
was
Thank
the
you.
song of Ashira.
Yes,
I
wrote
probably
it.
would mispronounce Ashira. Faltataja.
Fartata Jalla.
Faltatajala.
فلتتجلى.
There we go.
Faltata
Yeah.
Jalla.
I couldn't.
Yeah. Welcome. My name is Maurizio Benazzo.
My name is Zaya Benazzo.
We are speaking to you for the unceded territory of the coastal Miwok and South Pomo land colonially called Sebastopol, California, Northern California.
Yeah. And today is the first day of the film premiere, Where Olive Trees Weep. And we have prepared a 21 days premiere, and every day we'll have a conversation on Palestine with historians, musicians, artists, poets, journalists, spiritual teachers. So it will be very rich program. Please tune in whenever you can and share with your friends.
Yeah, the movie is available since last night, so I don't know if many of you saw it. I see some little nod here and there. Thank you. So the movie is available. In case you haven't seen it, go to the website Where Olive Trees Weep, and you can get all the information. It's by donation, as we well know.
Mm-hmm. And with a great sadness, we can say that the film feels very timely. Because we've been watching now for 243 days. We've been collectively witnessing the unspeakable brutality unfolding in Gaza. And we hear now daily on the massacres happening there. At this point, the official number says 36,000 people have been killed, but the reality, that number is much higher, is more probably like 200,000 and 16,000 children. And at this very moment, there is about, that's what we know, 3,500 children on the brink of starvation. So it's a dire times to be releasing the film. And yet it feels timely, and we hope with the film to give more context to people who don't know why is happening what's happening today. At this very moment, there is no hospital left in Gaza, no school, all the universities have been destroyed. We have watched the erasure of places of worship, of mosques, of ancient churches. 14,000 years history has been erased in front of the eyes of the world. And Israel keeps targeting all the cultural centers, the libraries, any kind of record of people's life, any remnant and traces of their roots of the land have been intentionally wiped out. So genocide is not just mass murder, but is also the intentional erasure of whole society and culture. And this is happening also in a context of very well coordinated misinformation campaign, silencing, and complete denial, which I want to say it's changing slowly. We're starting to see some more truthful articles coming in mainstream media, but it's been 243 days, and it's changing very slowly. So in May 2022, we traveled with Dr. Gabor Mate. He invited us and Ashira, reluctantly initially, like, who are you guys?
Ashira was very reluctant
What?
initially, rightly so.
Gabor was traveling to the occupied West Bank to give a workshop because Ashira invited him to Palestinian women who have been incarcerated in prison by Israel, and he was offering a trauma healing workshop. So he said, "Come with me. I am not sure what you can film, but come along." Ashira was like, "Okay, come along. I'm not sure what you can capture, and if you have the capacity to capture." But here we are. We were there 2 years later. Yeah. We're releasing the film. Initially, we had no idea if we had a film or not. But here is the film, and this is the time that wanted to be
the film had a life of its own, like we know better than just simplify. The film has a life on its own, and it decided that now is the time to come out, and rightly so. And as Zaya said, it's an absolutely mixed feeling of feeling honored to be able to be the instrument of this movie to take birth. On the other hand, it's painful to have to be the instrument of such a film. I mean, because the moment is really, I would have preferred to do a romantic comedy, let's put it this way, and be here with you to celebrate that the world is so just and peaceful and everybody's, is having such a easy, but here we are.
Here we are, and
should we
introduce Ashira? Yes.
Introduce Ashira.
You don't need an introduction, but for those who haven't seen the movie, we're just gonna do a brief.
Ashira Darwish. Ashira Ali Darwish worked for 15 years as a TV and radio journalist and researcher in Palestine for the BBC, Amnesty International, and Human Rights Watch. She's the founder of Catharsis Holistic Healing, a trauma therapy project pioneering a type of Sufi active meditation that draws its roots from ancestral and indigenous knowledge. Thank you, Ashira. And Ashira is now here with us in Turtle Island, in this continent. So honored and happy to have you, sister.
Welcome, Ashira.
Thank you.
And
I'm honored to be here and to be able to speak and to be able to, I would say, freely speak. When Zaya and Mauricio told me that we're going to start with the film, the most important thing for me was I want to come out and shout. I want to come out of Palestine and shout, because we haven't been able to even open our mouths throughout this whole ethnic cleansing, genocide in the West Bank, in 48 lands. We have been silenced, and it just feels great to be able to speak, just to be able to speak and say what's going on, and to do anything possible right now to let the world wake up and see what's going on, and to hopefully make it stop.
And just so everyone knows, Ashira arrived last night, literally, in the US.
Yes.
All this month, she could not speak, she could not share anything, just to protect her family. As well as other women that we interviewed for the film. At the end, we decided that we cannot include their interviews because it would not be safe for them. They're still living there. And Ashira, you can speak more, but nobody can speak at this very moment. They are.
It's always been, there hasn't been space for us to speak as Palestinians, but the situation since October 7th has escalated to a degree which is far beyond what I've experienced. We've normally, like, to give you an example, if you go to prison, if you speak out prior to 7th October, on social media, for example, if you write anything in support of a liberated free Palestine, if you're in the 48 land or in occupied Jerusalem, you can get a sentence of 6 months in prison for just saying, we have a right to exist, and we have a right to resist Now you can get a sentence of 2 years. My friend is now awaiting a sentence. They've asked for 2 years for sharing a poem about resistance, not even writing the poem, just sharing it. Murad Mhaysin sits in jail, wasn't able to be with his wife for the birth of their second child just because he shared a post. Journalists, activists, anyone, if you say anything on social media, you can get tracked, arrested, detained. Children also have been arrested for posting things on social media. If you dare to speak out in the normal media, that you even have a higher risk. If you dare to sing like Dalal Abu Amne, you can get harassed. Settlers will come to your house. You can get attacked. No one is safe at this point. Just there's no safety in sharing your opinion, let alone even try to act or protest or demonstrate. They have been crushing any form of protests in 48 in Jerusalem and in the West Bank. And it has gotten to a situation where people are just terrified of saying anything, and we just have to bottle it in. It's so hard to see what's happening to the people in Gaza, and there are families, there are breath and blood, and we can't even say that what is happening to them is wrong. To that point, we are crippled by the Palestinian Authority, who also arrests, detains, and tortures anyone who is speaking out, anyone who's organizing protests. We can't. It's just unbearable. And of course, if you're in Gaza and you dare to speak, you get bombed into bits and pieces. You've seen the Al Jazeera reporter, his family, his child, his wife were killed just because he was speaking out. And other than the targeting of journalists directly and killing them, it is the worst thing that I've experienced in my lifetime, and it just doesn't get any better. And I personally have had to make the choice to cut all social media so that I don't even dare to raise my mouth, because I was pregnant and because I have a newborn, so I couldn't risk getting arrested, and I can't even speak out. And now it feels like, okay, I'm out and I can speak, but the rest of the Palestinians can't speak.
And you were living in Ramallah. What's the daily reality in Ramallah? Like, what is it? Just if you can give us a taste of it. I just heard that they bombed the market like 2 days ago. They destroyed the biggest market in town.
So on a daily basis, living in occupied territory there's nothing normal about living under occupation. And what we have to go through is daily checkpoints, daily dehumanization at these checkpoints. Other than the fact that the Israelis go into our cities. So since there's like life pre 7th October and after, and what happened is it just multiplied. So things just became more aggressive, and the settlers became much more aggressive. And if you can imagine, like for us to go from Jerusalem to Ramallah, which used to be a daily ride, all of the Palestinian Bedouin camps and houses have been completely eradicated. The settlers moved them out under threat of killing them, and they've completely opened, ethnically cleansed entire areas, and Palestinians can't go. So we haven't been able to use most of the streets. For me to go, just to give you an idea, why I had to go to Ramallah, because my daughter, I'm from Jerusalem, but because my daughter we wanted her to go to the kindergarten, a specific kindergarten, we couldn't cross what would take us 15 minutes from Jerusalem to Ramallah would take us 3 hours. We weren't able to move around anywhere. And this is nothing in comparison to what's happening in Gaza, but the level of control in the West Bank has become immense. We are living in cages, and it's just about survival. We wake up, we see the news, we know what's going on in Gaza, and we can't go out to the streets. We went out a few times in Ramallah, and the Palestinian Authority rammed a protester, killed them on the first protest, to make sure that they curb any kind of protests. If you're active if you're in Jenin, if you're in Nablus, it's literally target zone. I wouldn't say it's a war zone because we don't have we don't have an army. But Jenin has been turned over, and this was prior to 7 October. They've been raiding Nablus and Jenin and trying to eradicate any form of resistance in the refugee camps. This has been the strategy, and this has been the strategy also in collaboration with the Palestinian Authority. So they work together in order to...
They're bought by the Palestinian authorities.
Yeah, so if you think
Government.
It's a
Puppet government, yeah.
exactly, it's so you would have if the Israelis can't capture a wanted Palestinian, then the Palestinian Authority is sent to capture them or torture them or threaten them. So there's coordination on all levels in terms of maintaining the security of Israel. So internally, there's just it's boiling and bubbling, and there's no room to go with all that. Yeah, it's going to the market, you have to think 3-4 times. A mother and her child were shot in the car in Jeep, which is close to Ramallah, just because soldiers felt that there was a threat. Every move that you make leaving your house is a risk. And this is just in the safe zone, let's say Ramallah. But yeah, in the rest of the cities where they're in Tulkarem, it's a complete closure. You can't go after the houses. They've gone after the infrastructure, attacking people every day. There's like 10 in Jenin, 10 martyrs a day you would find. In Nablus, they're targeted 3 martyrs just this week. So it's a complete ethnic cleansing on all levels. In Jenin, you see the mass murder machines in operation, and in the West Bank, it's been slow and ongoing for 76 years, and it just increased the vibe in the last 6 months.
Yeah, I think they've killed like 500 people since October 7, and there is no Hamas. Right?
No, this whole no Hamas, there is Hamas. There's more Hamas now than there was before October 7th. This idea that there is no Hamas in the West Bank so they can kill everyone in the West Bank, no. We use it sometimes. Sometimes people say there's no Hamas and look what they've done to the West Bank. The reality is there's a rainbow of political parties in the West Bank and in Gaza, and they have the right to be there. And even if there was Hamas in Gaza and there is in the West Bank, there is Hamas in the West Bank, no one has the right to do what they're doing. And the excuse, let's say now we have 500 Palestinians killed since October 7th. Just to give you an idea, in 2020 and 23, it was the deadliest year for the Palestinians in the West Bank. They killed over 300 people, including children. It's never... using the issue, they use the issue, the bubble of Hamas or political parties, but at the end of the day, this is an this is an occupation with an ethnic cleansing ideology, which has come in and has been active. It goes up in waves, how it operates on us, but they've been trying to wipe us out all these years. They've been trying to wipe us out, clean us out, kill us in all forms of ways. If it's sometimes I think, I used to say this before what happened in Gaza. I used to say, Ya Allah, if they want to kill us, why don't they just kill us fast? Like come in, put us all like burn the ghettos and burn us like fast, so that we don't have to go through this daily life under misery and occupation. Having your kids being in prison, having no one in the West Bank or in all of Palestine hasn't endured from this life of dehumanization, life of occupation. It's just that there's slow death and there's fast death. And the Israelis choose the pace they want to go.
And it's systematic, it's on every level of existence it's carefully planned, controlled and implanted.
From East Jerusalem, not allowing us to get married to anybody. If you have an East Jerusalem ID, you don't get married. If you get married to someone from the West Bank, you lose your IDs. Trying to kick us out from all of Jerusalem. In 48, there's 41 laws that discriminate against Palestinians of living in the 48 land. It's on every single level. Our neighborhoods, what we get in municipality, the education system, they're trying, if they can't get you by killing you or imprisoning you, they're going to try to push you so hard so that it's not a place where you want to live and you would eventually leave. So it's systematic in all of its forms. It just gets sometimes polished by the liberals like Olmert, and sometimes it gets the strong hand by Netanyahu. It just swings, but the main target of the existence of this whole state is to wipe us out, a land without people. That's what they wanted. And they got the wrong kind of people. We're not going anything. We didn't, they should have finished us off in 48, because even with everything that is happening currently in Gaza, they will not get rid of us. And they can just use more force, but it's not going to happen.
And the world is waking up. The world is starting to see more and more.
Inshallah. Inshallah. But the world is always waking up a little bit too late. When I was working with Amnesty and we were working on the apartheid report, I used to think like, it's B'Tselem, an Israeli organization, declared that Israel is an apartheid state 50 years ago. They knew the agenda. And now we're working and we have to do so much legalities and go through the legal system, which was created by the colonizers to protect the colonization in order to prove that this is an apartheid or this is a genocide. And we go to the ICC and we try to get justice from there. And I used to tell them, by the time we say apartheid and it becomes a word, the genocide is going to be, we're going to start working on genocide reports. And sadly, this is the reality. It's like the world wakes up very late. And it's 76 years late. And I think for the Palestinians, the main thing that the shift that happened is we no longer wait for the world to actually shift. We don't expect the world to save us anymore. We have this song, Wain al Malayin, usually, like, where are the millions that are gonna come and save us? And now it's like, you guys stay occupied with your own. And the Palestinians will struggle and will resist. And those who are with humanity have been with Palestine prior to what happened right now in Gaza. This one just woke up more and more people who have been dormant. But it's like you need to wake up and remember that you're 76 years late. So the roar needs to be like
amplified,
amplified in ways that it's not an end. It's not only about a ceasefire. It's not only about a ceasefire. The ceasefire is going to stop them from killing a few people in Gaza, and we need that desperately so that people can survive clear. But what we need is an end to this occupation, not one day more. It's the calls that we also see the world needs to come to. It's like, don't put a plaster and bandage our killing right now, just so that the West can continue to live and this problem is put away in a drawer.
And continue to sell the weapons.
And continue to sell the weapons, and we continue to live the slow, silent death in the West Bank and 48, and they eradicate us slowly, like Mahmoud Darwish's poem about the natives. And that we will become like the natives following the horse, our remnants will be the horses on the land. So there's a chance here for humanity to correct what has been done. And not only to us, because I feel like we're so connected to all the other people of color and people who have been colonized and people who've suffered. So this is a chance for all of us to clear this cycle. And I see it. I see that it will happen because we have faith and hope. And that's the only thing that keeps us going. So yeah.
Can you say something about how dehumanization actually has paved the way to this genocide and how this has been, in the work for a century or even, more than that?
I think it's the whole Zionist ideology is created that Jews are better than everybody else. And it uses the religion, it uses Judaism as a vessel for Zionism. And it's the difference between, like, for me, it's with the Palestinians in general, that we want to achieve a situation where we live in freedom, and we believe that Jewish children, whatever religion, whatever faith, have the right to live and exist in freedom. And we see ourselves as equal to others. Whereas for the Israeli, so for me, I wouldn't advocate for the killing of Israelis for me to achieve my freedom. I would advocate for freedom for my children and their children. Whereas for Israelis, in order to achieve their freedom, because they see themselves, they view themselves as far more superior to us, then they wouldn't mind killing a few 100,000 children in Gaza in order to protect the one Jewish child. And they have no problem in saying that. This is the ideology, that Jews have this chosen land and that they are better than everybody else in the world. And hence, Zionism will accomplish the dream and protect this land for the Jews. Even if it means killing all the Palestinians there, because Palestinian lives really don't matter exactly to the same amount. So when you're brought up in the Israeli system, in the Israeli schools, this is what you're educated. You're educated that you're superior to everybody else. It's fear-based to the point that it's engraved in each and every child's veins that the whole world wants to kill you. Anti-Semitism is a threat, and every second everyone is coming after you. And it's Zionism uses this Jewish fear in order to advocate for all the murder and for all the control and for all they control the Israelis. The Israelis are more occupied than we are because their whole religion is occupied, their identity. They're forced into an army where their kids have to go and shoot other kids and burn them and maim them, and they have to go back to their bases and pretend that everything is okay and come out normal from this situation. They're indoctrined to the point that they're human robots for the Israeli military and for the Zionist machine. And there are some who refuse, there are some who fight, but I used to say, like, every Israeli has the choice and they can say no, but the more I understand trauma, I'm like, how are they gonna say no when there's one of the strongest propaganda machines in the world, one of the most ideological states in the world that says this country is only for Jews, throwing information at them every single day and telling them that these people want to kill you. And the 7th October was the example. Now let's kill them all and the whole country. Even the left, even what we used to consider left, went with the wave that, yes, they are coming to kill us, so wipe them off. And it's okay to burn Gaza, to starve them, to kill them all so that the hostages come back. And it's like, the ground was already so fertile with so much hate and fear that they live every single day of their lives with this fear. And that's why I say they're kind of more occupied than we are. At least we have the freedom to say that we're fighting for freedom. And that's what we don't want them all to perish. We don't want from the river to the sea does not mean we're gonna kill you all and put you in the sea. It just means we want to be free in our land from the river to the sea. It's just that. And we don't advocate for the same hate because at the end of the day, religiously, we believe that the Jews have, the right to exist. There's respect between the religions, and the Palestinians. We opened our arms and homes to the Jews when they were suffering in the Holocaust, and we opened our homes. I know in Jerusalem, like, our families, which were kicked out in 1967, welcomed Jewish refugees. And it's to see this and to see what's happening to us now, it's just unbearable. And yes, they dehumanize us. When I go on checkpoints, we have so many tricks to Palestinians. So I used to cross and bring all my friends from the West Bank because when I grew up, it was still open. So in 2000, when we supposedly signed a peace agreement and sold Palestine for the PA, the Israelis closed the checkpoint. So as a kid, all of my friends couldn't come anymore to my home, and Jerusalem was divided, and there was checkpoints everywhere. And this is like the peace that they promised. So I would put everyone in my car and drive through checkpoints because I know how the Israeli mentality thinks. If you don't have a hijab and you have a tattoo and you look like a bunch of liberals in the car, there's no way that you can be a Palestinian. They wouldn't stop my car. They wouldn't ask a question. Sometimes we would be stopped, and because of the way we look, sometimes I would speak to Israelis in Arabic, and they were like, "Are you an Arab?" I'm like, "Yes, Palestinian to be exact." I'm like, "No, but did you live outside?" And I'm like, "Why? Just because I don't look like the image that was given to you, that there's a hijabi woman coming to kill, or that I'm not dark enough, or." And I can always see it with my mother, who's a little bit lighter skinned, and when she goes and does things and she speaks Hebrew, versus anyone who they have this stereotype of what Palestinians are, and they work everything around that. To them, as I said in the film, we're rats. You can eradicate them. They look at the kids in Gaza and they say, "Oh, okay, they're all future bombs. Yelda, explode, burn them." They they've been taught this since childhood, sadly. And what needs to happen is they need to be liberated in order for us to be liberated. Their minds need to be liberated. Like, I don't advocate for putting to do Nuremberg style courts, because at the end of the day, these people need like hospitals, that they need therapy. They need years and years and years and years of therapy to undo what has been done to them.
And yeah. I mean, imagine also we are hearing already a lot of not a lot, but some suicide in the army happening, that they are also, they some
kids,
human beings,
yeah.
they kids still that could feel perhaps. And imagine how, trauma, you can't even, we came to make a movie on trauma, and that proved to be impossible actually to even begin talking about trauma. But you have deep understanding of trauma and how it works. And so how do you understand that people who have experienced such a severe trauma would come to this new land and inflict the same violence, the same mentality which was inflicted on them, on the Palestinian? Like,
you don't see Jews in America, running with guns after Palestinians. There's something with the Zionist ideology and the creation of the Zionist ideology. There are a lot of Holocaust survivors that have liberated minds, and they're not supportive of the Zionist state. The re-trauma and the cycle began with the creation of the Zionist state and with the beginning of the ethnic cleansing. And had they even yani, created the state and it wasn't based on ethnic cleansing, I don't think we would have reached where we are today. If it was a state that was created as a home for Jews, as a refuge, in a sense, if that makes any sense. It's the ideology of removing the original, removing the native of their land and taking that land. And it's a colonialist ideology that sinks in with the United States. It sinks in with the West. It sinks in with the ideology that we are superior and we're coming to the Middle East and putting this entity in the heart of your Middle East so that we can control everything there. It's a political agenda, and they use the Jewish trauma. They use Jewish trauma.
Perpetuated because
they know that there's fear. They know that there's fear because what the Jews have experienced is nothing. I landed first from Palestine into Germany, and I wanted to go to see concentration camps because I've grown up with this semi-ADHD obsession about it, because I couldn't understand how it could be done and how people could do it to each other. And I also didn't understand why the Israelis are doing this to us after what was done to them. And what happened, I think I've never felt darker energy in my life than being in a moratorium room in the concentration camp. I cannot even begin to imagine or think that I know what it feels to be that person who watched their family go into a gas chamber. That trauma is not something that I can even comprehend. My small human mind could not even comprehend how people went through it. So I cannot see anything except for that the Zionist state used this fear, this innate fear, this intergenerational trauma that's in the blood, in order to control people into creating these massacres again. If you put anyone and educate them in the Zionist state, they will do the same thing. It doesn't have to be a Jew who survived the Holocaust. I don't think their trauma is the reason why there's this aggression. I think it is the use of powerful people using the Jewish trauma, using the pain and the fear in order to manipulate and create these masked soldiers. Because I've seen Druze in the army. I've seen so many people from different sects, and it's the same mask. It's the mask of fear. It's a mask of hate. It's a mask of dehumanization for the other. They've dehumanized themselves in order to be able to dehumanize us. And it's not the trauma replaying, because otherwise you would see the Jews doing the same thing all over the world. And this is not it is a religious war in the sense of what the Christians, the new liberal Christians want to do and what is shown on the surface. But the reality of it is there are people who are controlling them. If you look at what happened to the ultra-Orthodox community in Neturei Karta in Jerusalem, if you look at the Orthodox community and how they live inside the state and why they're living as settlers in the poorest areas, and their social status, you can see that this state is not created for the Jews. This state is created for very, very rich, affluent European Jews and not religious Jews. The ultra-Orthodox community does not live in the same standards. They do not raise their weapons. Some of them are Zionist, but the majority of them are anti-Zionist. And it's a state that uses them. It's a state, and it's the US also that's complicit in this. It's not only that the Israeli government, it's an ideology that was created to use this Second World War. They were too late to save the Jews, and they could have had the chance to go save them. Today's D-Day. So late. 6 million people perished before they arrived to save them. And to use, after the Europeans and the Americans saved whatever is left, they used them. They shipped them to a country, they armed them, and they sent them off to start an ethnic cleansing, and then they controlled them, and they still continue to control. And now the rogue instrument, they're actually gone a bit rogue with Netanyahu. It looks like he's going against the American government, but at the end of the day, it was a created state by colonialists, protected by them, kept by them. Balfour Declaration happened in Britain. Everybody in Europe used the Holocaust and used their trauma to continue the anti-Semitism. They call us anti-Semites. I think the only people anti-Semitic are the people who made the decision to bring the Israelis over to this land, because they were there always, and they lived happily with the Palestinians. And we have, it's the creation of a state in their name to using their religion. Sorry, that was long.
No,
that's
that was
it.
like riveting, and you're such a
Yeah,
powerful force, and
bringing all the
bringing
pieces
the truth
together.
together.
and
Yeah,
that
it's
has
so
to
beautiful.
sink in all of us.
Yeah.
It takes time, but
Yeah,
has
yeah,
to
yeah,
sink.
yeah, yeah.
I want to take a moment. We're going to play one clip from the film, and then we will continue. So, Sarah, if we can play the first clip.
يوم تحتي مورد بريوتو وعالوضن قابل حاشي وسقي.
Working on trauma in this context is extremely challenging because, as we were saying, you are not on a situation where the traumatic situation had happened and now people have a safe space where you can work on that. So you need to understand that working on trauma will be on a context of ongoing traumatic situation. You cannot make a normal life if you are all the time in touch with the pain and the sorrow and the grief.
Two things. This was filmed in the cave of the patriarch. So if you
in
could say
Hebron.
something about this and visualize what that means. I mean, this is a temple that both people are, it's a sacred place, and how it's divided and how it's segregated and how the Palestinians are treated and how the Israeli, if you can give a glimpse of that, and also speak about your work with the trauma healing, with catharsis, and what you see and what you've learned in doing the work you do on trauma healing.
So the idea about the temples or the synagogues, we say it in Arabic, مسمار جحا, the nail of Juha, that in every Palestinian city, within each of Palestinian city's heart, which is Palestine under Palestinian Authority control, what the Israelis have done is, in order never to believe and to ensure that they are constantly, they left something there. So in Nablus, you have a tomb. In Hebron, you have a tomb. In Bethlehem, you have a tomb. And around that tomb will be mass security. In Bethlehem, it's a whole, the wall surrounds the entire shrine. In Hebron, they've divided the actual mosque and cut off the Muslims from visiting and make their lives hell if they reach it. And they've created entire sterile roads. Sterile in the sense that we would depurify those streets and make them unsterile if we Palestinians step on them. And as Palestinians, you have to cross like monkeys from the rooftops because you're not allowed to use the land. And even though it's your house, you would have to jump into the roof. The idea is control. So there might be religious, there's the religious places, but the reality is, if you look, for example, at the tomb in Hebron and Bethlehem, the majority of the people that go would be the settlers. It wouldn't be the Orthodox community or and they just use these as an excuse. So to make to ensure that whenever they want access into the center of the city, they can have access into the center of the city. They make sure that they haven't left completely any of the Palestinian cities. So even in Jericho, there's also another small point. Yeah, there's another shrine where the Israelis would come into buses and go. And it's also used to instigate. So when things are, when a government wants to create, when the Israeli government wants more chaos in order to hide corruption or any problems internally, suddenly they would go in buses and a government official would go into these tombs to pray, and then there will be clashes and protests and things will break out. They're used more militarily than anything else, and points of control for the Palestinians. And when I say points of control, it means points of misery for us. Checkpoints, strip searching, unable to access these areas, and yeah, just terror being in that area.
And in that temple, on the Palestinian side, they have a metal gate,
Yeah,
right?
it's in the town on the Palestinian side. To get in, you have to go to 3 checkpoints. The gate is super narrow. You walk one person at a time. All the shops are closed because there is no traffic of people. All the coffee shop, everything is closed. As you enter from the other side, you see I could go because I claimed that I was Christian and they let me walk with the camera. We walk by. On the other side, on the same temple, on the Cave of the Patriarch, there is a huge park and buses arrive to the door.
With the lawn and green grass.
Everything green grass, ice cream, coffee shop, everything is like, yay.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And the sterilized road, when we tried on a road, they said, they stopped. Who are you? What do you do? Said, and the first guy, are you Christian? I said, yeah, I'm Christian. Okay, you can go. It's incredible. A road in the middle of the town is blocked. You have to walk 3 miles to reach something that you see on the other side, 100 feet.
It's where you can see the most visual it's the most visual apartheid when you go there, because you can see it. There's no denying it. They stop it. Muslim, Jewish, Palestinian, you can't enter, that's it. And the thing you say, the door is, we call it ma'ata. It's what they put the chickens in, the name we use, before they kill them, because it's used for animals and cattle. And that's what they use for us. We're always stuck between barbed wires and this everlasting ma'ata. And if you cross that and you get stuck in between, then you're stuck in between, and the soldiers can do whatever they want to you.
And they do.
And they do. And they do. And so many Palestinians got killed. I don't have numbers, but on that road, the Sterile, so many Palestinians got killed. I walked once to do a documentary and I was booed and spat at by little kids. And I was speaking English because, God forbid, if they knew I was Palestinian, I would have probably gotten rocks. Or sometimes they spray boiling water and acid water. And they just thought I was a foreigner, and I was spat at, cursed, by little tiny kids. And this is where the indoctrination, like if you want to be a settler there, then you have to be properly brainwashed in order to live there and to be who you are, and to have so much aggression and anger and hate for everybody else.
We actually witnessed the kids coming out of school and surrounding the soldiers and cheering up around them. It's like,
you're the hero, you're the hero.
Kill them all.
Kill them all, kill them all.
Children.
Then they came towards us, again in Hebron, they came towards us with the camera and said, what are you doing here? What are you doing? And so we, oh, you're Christian, we do a documentary about all
the settlers and the situation now in the West Bank is, if you think we have the army, then you have a militia, and it's the most aggressive and the most I don't know what you would call them, because it's yani every time I was driving in the last, well, I always have this, like, my trauma response. We talk about it. My trauma response is, before I leave, I think about any, like, if I see Israelis, what do I say? If I see a settler, how do you escape? What do you do with the children? Where do I put my child, in which side of the car, in case they want to shoot, or inside in case they want. And the settler militias are yani vicious, they're terror squads. They're armed, and they just got even more and more armed, and America is just paying money, getting machine guns to these people so that they can kill kids in Hawara. And you're living around these robots who are carrying these machine guns and ready to shoot you and kill you. It's the amount of fear that they also, when you talk about trauma, the amount of fear that we have, I have to say, like, for me, it's shifted, like, before having kids and after having kids. Because before having kids, I didn't have that much fear. I didn't mind standing in front of soldiers. I didn't mind if I saw settlers and they're coming, I would get even more aggressive to scare them. But after having children, it's a whole other world of fear that I've never experienced in my life. And I know the effect of fear on the body. So I'm always like trying to tell myself, like, Shira, let go of the fear, take care of the kidneys. But it's terrifying. It's terrifying. Every single day is terrifying. Every single night, it's terrifying. Like when I was sleeping in Ramallah, trying to explain to my daughter that there's fireworks when I can hear the soldiers, and we can hear the sound of the shooting, and it's like, when will this stop? And I look at the pictures coming from Gaza, beheaded children, burned, charred, the amount of killing that happened on the earth in this past, it's I just can't understand how the world continues to operate.
Accept that. Yeah. I'm just looking at the time, and I would like also to take some questions, but before we do that, if you can just say something about your work with Catharsis and your vision. I mean, how do you even envision healing after genocide? Where do you even begin?
So for me, the reason why I moved from journalism and human rights work into trauma work is because of my personal injury and my healing journey. And I wanted to share that. Western psychology does not work with us, and it's imposed upon us as people of color and people with occupied bodies. It's imposed on us that, and the concept, the idea that you would sit and talk about your trauma and do talk therapy during, when you are still occupied, never worked for me. And my experience was horrific. I was re-traumatized every time I tried to do therapy for my arrests. And I wanted to be able to provide something else that works for us, works for occupied bodies, works for brown bodies, works for people who have gone through trauma that's intergenerational, that continues to affect their genes and their daily lives. And I was blessed and lucky on this journey to find amazing healers and amazing teachers. And I used Sufi whirling to heal from my paralysis, and I used active meditations, and I wanted to share that. And I wanted to share it first with children who came out of prison, because that was my experience, and I felt that that was the point that changed my life and shifted who I am and who I would have been hadn't I been in that situation. And I wanted to be able to give children the chance to come out of prison and feel alive again, and to refine themselves and redefine who they are after the arrest, because you lose yourself in those places. If you think of hell on earth, and if you think that being killed or your family being killed in front of you is something, and being inside an Israeli detention interrogation center, you would wish death every second. And some people ask, like, why do the Palestinians go and do stabbing attacks or do suicide attacks? Because they don't want to go into prison, because prison is a much scarier place for us. And if you think right now, as we speak, there's 9,300 Palestinian bodies incarcerated. From them, there's 200 children. From them, there's 60 children that are held under what we call administrative detention, without the right to a lawyer, without any charges, just because the state of Israel decided to put them in there. So it felt like I have to do something, and it was my calling. And I wanted to share these tools. I started with children, women and girls who came out of prison. And that's how I connected with Dr. Gabor. And that's how we created the conference 2 years ago. And that's how I met you guys. So we do therapy, holistic therapy, liberation therapy, for children, women, and adults. And since the war started, we had our center in Gaza. We worked in cooperation with NOAA. Sadly, one of the buildings of the center was bombed, and the kindergarten and the center have been turned into shelters right now. And there's the head of the organization had to leave Gaza. But we used to do amazing work there with the children, and it's the work that what was wonderful is that our nervous system works with our therapy, in the sense that just as we retain intergenerational trauma, we have intergenerational resilience. And we've gone through the Nakba and the Naksa, and our bodies know that we have tools within us, and each and every body that comes from intergenerational trauma does have the keys and codes to heal. It's just about how you work with these cues and keys. So when I saw what was happening with the children in Gaza, and when I worked with the kids in Ramallah, they taught me first a lot of tools that are available to us. I sat with the children from Bedouin communities, and I was asking them about, like, let's do some meditation, and they were like, no, let's scream. And I was like, yalla, let's scream. Teach me how to scream, because we've been told that we can't scream. So we sat and we shouted. And after that, we put the dahiyya. And the dahiyya is a Bedouin type of dabke and dancing. And when I was listening to the rhythm, it's the same rhythm that we do in Kundalini. And I was like, this works with our body. Faith works with us. We have sumud. We are the ones who teach sumud. We have resilience comes from us rather than from outside to us. It's just about bringing that up. We don't need to be sitting after incarceration and being told that it's our fault that we went to prison, and that there's a problem with that. There's a problem. We need somebody to tell us that what you fought for is what you believed, and there's nothing wrong with what you did. It's just how we remove the fear, the state of freeze that you're in. How do we reteach your nervous system to work with the trauma, how to build resilience so that you can continue to live in a place under occupation? Because we can't teach a child to unlock, to release all the trauma and to release their responses if they're living in Silwan and the soldiers will come, and they need the freeze response, because if they don't freeze when the soldier comes and they run like a normal child, they will be shot with bullets in their back. There are things that God gave to us innately in our bodies, and so that we can be safe, and we don't want to mess with that nervous system. So I saw it work. I saw it work with children in Gaza, and we had the pleasure of having Dr. Gabor, which was amazing, and to have you guys. I was a bit skeptical in the beginning. I was like, what trauma are they gonna find here? And
rightly so. I mean, yeah.
And it was brilliant to see Dr. Gabor work with all these women, and to see Kath Temple, a beautiful angel who's taught us emotional freedom technique, and she does all this work for free and supports all of the therapists that we have to provide more and more therapy. And we had Zahira Maus, who came from the Netherlands to do dance therapy. It was just a brilliant experience to have all these people coming and volunteering. They all volunteered their time, their effort to work with not only former prisoners, but also other activists. And it was just a wonderful experience and a healing journey that for us, and I think it was also an experience for everybody who came to meet with us, because they're still connected and they want to do more. Because once you see the resilience, you can also feel it, and you want to work with the Palestinians. And the idea now, of course, with the genocide, how do you heal from a genocide? You look at the images of people in Gaza, and I've been working during this time to keep my sanity, because it's sometimes you can just die from seeing the images, and the trauma seeps into your soul. I wanted to work with the women and children who were left in the West Bank, and cancer patients who stayed in the West Bank, and I was working with them during this time, and we're providing them with therapy sessions, and they are resilient. There's something else. There's something, the faith is so strong. And the faith gives us the power and the ability to go on. The yaqeen that we know in our hearts that we will stay on the land, we will stay resilient, and no matter what happens, if they kill us, they might kill 1, 2, 3, but we will continue. Keeps us strong. And it has the type of healing needs to be an empowering healing, because we're not victims. As I said, the Israelis need a different kind of therapy. But at this point, for the Palestinians, we need empowerment, and we have how many thousands of orphans right now that we need to work with? And what we want to do, the vision is we rebuild the center in Gaza. We still have the workshops with the women in the West Bank. We want to be able to do summer camps right now for the children. We want to teach more therapists. We want to train more therapists. We want to also exchange with people from around the world who want to exchange. So we have 400 beautiful volunteer therapists from around the world that are offering now free therapy sessions to all the Palestinians wherever they are. There's beautiful souls coming together to do this. And we have an angel who's on the call who's made all of this happen, because we do need support financially in order to do this work. And we need angels to continue to come to provide so that we can give services. And we will do it. It might look like the end of the world, but me knowing and seeing the faces that I know from Gaza and the Gazawis who have left Gaza and are in Jordan, and saying we will in Egypt will not move an inch from Egypt so that they can return to Gaza with all of the destruction to rebuild it. There's resilience and there's life there, and we live for that life, and we know that we can rebuild whatever. And our souls and hearts, even if they have damaged us, the most important thing for us, the Palestinians right now, is to maintain our faith in ourselves and to maintain our humanity. Because what they want is to turn us into them. And what we need to do is to protect what's in us, to continue the smiles, to continue dancing, to continue standing on the ground and talking to the earth and planting the trees that you're going to plant, so that we can continue to stay there no matter what happens, and singing our songs of freedom, because it's coming, it's happening, it's just a matter of time. And no, there's not a chance in the world that a brutal system will continue to exist after what they have done. They will not. It's just a matter of us holding together, holding strong. The protests that are happening in the US, the students, everyone who's moving an inch is moving a mountain. Because we cannot, in Palestine, don't expect the Palestinians to march and protest and talk in the West Bank or in Gaza or in 48. We need the voices of the free people around the world to push. And they can do the external push, and the Palestinians will do the resilience.
Wow.
Thank you, Ashira. Your voice is
such a-
so important
Oh my
at
God.
this time. You bring the wisdom, the resilience,
And the
the
power.
power, the strength, and it's just deep bow to you. And I'm so delighted you are in this country, even though this very country is part of the destruction. But here we can make a change today,
Yeah.
and it's happening.
But you have to go to the art to make the real change. And now, yes, you're here.
Your voice will be
Thank you, sister.
amplified, and it's much
Yeah.
needed.
And I'm here also to connect with the natives of the land and the occupied bodies that are here. So that we can do together. And I think it's important for this land to also have its its shift. Because there's injustice, there's more occupation here.
Absolutely. And it's been put aside like, oh, it never happened. But it's
Yeah.
changing here as well. It's changing.
It's changing. Inshallah.
Inshallah. So if you could raise your hand, and we have received questions, so we can read also some questions. But if you would like to come live, let us know.
And ideally,
Alex.
yeah, Alex.
Let's bring
Hello.
Hey, Alex.
Hey, hi, Mauricio. Isaiah. Hello, Shira. Thank you so much. I haven't seen the movie yet, so this is my first introduction. I'm taking a moment to to acknowledge what I'm seeing and feeling in myself. And I am drawn to Sufism, so I have been, but I'm from the Netherlands, and it's a safe place to be here and look at what is beautiful and go there. But I'm asking myself, am I crazy for running towards a fire if I see this happening and I have children who are not being bombed? You know, where how do I have something that I cannot accept, and that you are teaching me that is happening here? How do I not lose my humanity? I mean, wheresoever I turn, there I see the face of the beloved. This is what I am trying to do, but how do I deal with seeing a beloved hurt others?
I feel you. And being a Sufi does not mean we are in action, inactive. It means action. I think a lot of people think that spirituality means sitting and praying in a cave. But the reality of it is it's work. It's hard work. It was never easy. Al-Hallaj got killed and he was kissing his murderers, and he was saying, God will forgive you. He wasn't sitting, and I don't I don't think that sitting is the time right now in any caves. It's the time of action and it's the time of movement. So it's about organizing, it's about standing, it's about raising the voice, it's about raising awareness, it's about doing the work. It's we keep our prayers and we keep the faith, and the spirit guides us. The spirit guides us to keep the faith and to keep moving, and just trusting that. But we don't stop moving. We don't stop moving when we see children getting chopped and burned to death. No, no. That's the time to act. That's the time to move. That's the time to mobilize. That's the time to teach your children of what is going on. That's the time to get your children on the street. That's the time to write letters. That's the time to do everything that's within your power to do. And it's the world is not going to change if we all sit and wait for it to change. Keep your
scared.
heart, keep the spirit. You have to keep your faith and you have to keep your spirit in a space of love. But being in a space of love doesn't mean you do not act and stop what is happening. And you do not do, and you don't get the fear. The most important thing is not to allow their fear to infiltrate your body and your spirit. So
I feel that fear that is in me translating into blame to them, where I give my power away, because then they are to be blamed.
it's not about them being blamed. There's a blame. Of course, there's a blame. They're committing a genocide. We see it. It's about seeing that they're doing it. There is anger. There's rage. Let the anger and rage move you towards action rather than move you towards blame and fear. It's being able to say that something is wrong and to say that they are to blame. The governments are to blame. Netanyahu is to blame. I said the Israeli soldiers and the people who are committing the crimes, the commanders need to be taken to trials, and God help them. What will happen to them? At the end of the day, the judgment of God is far, far, far stronger than anything that we can provide on earth. I don't believe in prisons, and I don't believe that sending them to prison will help. I believe in divine intervention, and God will do whatever it takes. The thing is to act to stop them. And you stop them not by being weak, and you don't stop them by being silent, especially if you have the ability to speak. For Palestinians, if speaking means going into prison and losing your life, hold off. If you have the means and the power, like people who have the means and the power and who have said their word and who have taken action, then do take the action. But if you're sitting outside in Europe and you're buying Starbucks, no. If you're sitting outside and not in the street and not protesting, then there's something wrong. If you're sitting in a temple and talking about love and peace, no, it's not going to happen. Love and peace, love and peace, and all of it while children are burning is not going to happen.
Thank you for showing me that you are not afraid.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Alex.
Alex.
Thank you. Our common belief, Ola Nossier, would you like to
think she
come on?
Doesn't have her hand on.
Yeah.
Is Laura?
Nora,
Ola-
you see
Ola.
Nora?
I see Laura Harvey.
Laura, okay, yes, she has the video on.
Laura. Yes.
Okay, I am so sorry. I'm working and listening at the same time, so I'm not very good at multitasking. I just wanted to tell you, Shira, how moved it truly was that movie. Just, you want to do something, but what can you do? What do we do? I'm sorry. It's just a travesty. It's a travesty. How will we rectify this in front of God when we sat here and watched and didn't do anything? I'm sorry.
It's
I see
okay.
the pictures of the babies. I follow groups. I'm trying to be active in my community. We have an Arab recreational center that has meetings. I'm trying to be involved, but when you know the government has been taken over by AIPAC, you know that there's all these millions of dollars being put into our politicians. Our government has been hijacked. We are going to do what Israel tells us to do. We're not going to do what's in the best interest of people. We're going to do what's in the best interest of whatever the Jewish lobbyists tell our government to do. How do we overcome that? How do we fight that?
You fight it,
As
you fight it,
citizens?
you fight it, you fight it, you never accept it. And it's not only fighting it for me, for the Palestinians, it's fighting it for you. There's so many homeless people.
Mhm.
I've never seen so much poverty in my life. It's ridiculous. They're sending billions of dollars to bomb children while their children are hungry and sleeping in the streets.
Yes.
In Palestine, you don't see that. At least we take care of each other.
Never
The,
seen a homeless
the,
in Palestine. We have not
the
seen.
fight here is even people should be out of their mind. Yani,
They
they should,
should.
and
I
it's
can't get anyone to listen. I post the picture. Like, I've just gotten to the point, the bleeding and deceased babies. I've just started posting them. I don't care, just to wake people, like, this is what is happening. This is
but you're doing
a real
something.
thing.
But you're doing something. There's something moving. There hasn't been this many protests. There hasn't been this many protests in the US. There is something moving. It needs to be more. There needs to be civil disobedience. There needs to be something to stop the money from getting to Israel. And I think we're getting there. But at the end of the day, the people are occupied. The government is complicit. It's not, and there will be a stage of taking Israel to court, but the bombs that are falling on the children of Gaza, they are US made.
Yes,
It's
they are. And then
they're
when you have
US
our
made.
politicians signing them, signing their names to them,
Yeah,
like,
because the whole American
that's
system,
awful.
there's a problem that you have a government that the whole government is bought by money. When I did a
Mhm.
State Department visit, and I was astounded by this idea that you just give your congressman, whichever company buys the congressman, and they just buy their politicians with money. The whole system needs an overhaul. It's not only
Absolutely.
because of Palestine, it's because if people need to live and continue to survive here, there,
And the dual citizenship that are
there's no health care. The country that they're giving money to has one of the best health systems. Israel has the best health system, social system, and the US people can die in the streets.
yes.
It's
I mean, and
infuriating.
then you have,
I don't, the movement shouldn't only be about us. It needs to be a movement also because people are like, how do they accept it even? Like, how is it acceptable
they
that
don't know, and they are so wrapped up in the Kardashians and mundane, silly things that have no meaning, that when you present them with a real issue, like, we have congressmen that have dual citizenship with Israel and they're not required to tell us why. That's a compromised politician.
because they
And when you
create
tell them this, I'm a liar, I'm a conspiracy theorist. No, it's fact. You have the world at your fingertips. Look it up. It's not as it's there.
People
It's
are, I believe that
crazy.
people are, there is more information and people are waking up, and thank God we had some social media. Otherwise, 500,000 people would have been killed in Gaza and nobody would have heard a peep. It's just about mobilization and keep doing what you're doing. And it's not only, and people need to understand in the US, they're not only doing it for us. If they want to get liberated, the Americans need to get liberated for themselves as well. Stop sending the bombs, stop killing us would be great, but
Yes.
also allow the people of the land to live in their land, allow the people of the land to heal their land. And racism, it's yeah, we face occupation and brutality, very physical, and it's very in your face, whereas people here are suffering in also the slow death.
But they don't see that it's all tied into one. It is a global conspiracy with a lot of rabbit holes that all are tied together. And I guess that's where the problem lies, is how do you get people to see that this
Laura,
is not
sorry,
all individual.
We have a lot of
sorry,
questions.
we would like to take one or two more questions before
Thank you. The movie
you,
was
Laura.
amazing.
voice. Thank you so much.
Our common beliefs. There we go.
Assalamu alaikum. I can go on and talk about a lot of things or comment about a lot of things, but I have a specific question about how we can actually here in the United States help the orphans, because this is a huge, huge issue. I mean, my mother, Mia, as a mother, my instinct is to go and hug every child because we're all beyond heartbroken. We feel frustrated. As far as the political system the lobby system needs to be stopped, and we have to do everything we can to actually overhaul this, because that's ruining our whole system. It's ruining our country, because politicians that I've met will tell you straight to your face, we're so occupied with these lobbyists, they're sending us so much information that we can't even do our job. Like, that's really not, that's horrible. So they end up getting sucked into this matrix of lobbyists, and of course the strongest one is the APAC, and then you've got the army or whatever lobbyists, whatever it's called, and a whole bunch of others that they get so much information gets sent to them, but they're not doing their job is listening to their constituents, being out in the street, meeting people, hearing what people want. They're not doing that enough because they're overwhelmed with all this other nonsense. Yeah. So as far as the political system, the lobby system has to be eradicated, in my opinion, just like the apartheid system in Israel has to be eradicated. It's not doing anybody any good. Too much homeless everywhere. Too much, money is being spent left and right from where? The country's in $1 trillion debt. And don't ask me how they get money to go and bomb little kids. And it's just, it's while we have homeless people everywhere and children here starving.
I think, let me answer your question about the orphans. So there's the Ta'awun organization, and they are collecting funds and they're fostering children. So if you just go to Ta'awun, you will find out more information.
How do you spell that?
Ta'awun, me and my dyslexia.
I mean, in English, I'm trying to.
T-A-W.
Is T-A-W-I-N?
No, T-A-W-O-O-N, Ta'awun, I think.
Ta'awun, okay.
If you put Ta'awun Palestine, you'll find out. And that's one of the things that everybody is thinking about, like what happens to the orphans after they come out. And I started also connecting with people in Bahrain to see what options, because they have had good adoption routes, but in Palestine we're not allowed. So in Gaza specifically, the idea is they won't be allowed adoption because so that they won't be relocated from their homeland. So they will have to stay in Gaza, and they will have to we have to rebuild Gaza for them, basically.
We have to rebuild Gaza, yes, inshallah.
We have to rebuild Gaza and ensure that they can stay in their homeland and with whoever families, and it's sponsorships through organizations that can support us. At this point, we hope for for not another child to be orphaned by the end. Yani.
Yeah.
It's all for the after war, after aggression.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ola.
Thank you.
Jazakallah. Thank you.
Maybe we could take one more very succinct question. And Ashira, a few people were asking, they're therapists and they want to help and support. What would you say? Where would you direct?
So just send me an email. We have a form, and we have a lot of English speakers who volunteer. If there's Arabic speakers, please do volunteer, because we have more requests for Arabic, of course. And we will also, the hope is to send a delegation into Gaza. So therapists who are interested in entering Gaza once Rafah is given back, because that was the option before they took over Rafah, but we will still plan to send a delegation of therapists into Gaza, and if not into Gaza, into Egypt, to do support for the children. So I can post my email, or it's on the website. It's on my website. It's on my website.
They can contact us at Science and Duality, where the olive trees weep, and we'll pass it to you. We'll pass it.
Suzanne?
Suzanne, very brief, because we have one last announcement we want to.
Thank you very much for taking me to be so that I could speak. I just saw the film and was overwhelmed on so many different levels. I am a translator. I live in Spain. I would like to offer to translate whatever I can into Spanish. So please, I'll send my, I don't know where I'd like to send my
It's already being translated into Spanish.
You could review it
You could review it.
maybe make sure it's good.
Correct.
I could do that, absolutely. Then I also just wanted to say, you know, that I lived in Israel for a long time. And I come from a family of Arab Jews. My uncle, Abraham Serfati, was an activist and a political prisoner in Morocco for a long time. So anyway, I face within myself, I have faced within myself this incredible conflict of identity. But what Gabor Mate says in your film, he says, I want the truth. The truth is what matters. And for me, what you are showing to us is the truth, and what you are speaking to me is the truth, and I am aligned with the truth. And so I, would like to volunteer. I don't know what I can do to hands-on. I'm an artist. I work with children. I want to make myself available. And thank you.
So much. You can, there will be more information to support on the website, so you can definitely check it there.
Yeah.
And on the film website, there is a long list of resources and also 10 actions that each and every one of us can do. And you can choose which one works for you, from donating, volunteering, writing letters, praying, all of this. We need every possible action. We need to use every possible tool we have in our disposal. So please visit. And thank you, Susanna.
Thank you, Susanna.
Thank you.
Ashira, we were gonna introduce briefly. So just to say, with the proceeds, any donation that come from the film, we would like to support your work in rebuilding the center. And in addition, we are in partnership
with the Freedom from Palestine. I read briefly what they do.
Let Cyrus.
Yeah, Cyrus, you want to briefly introduce what Freedom from Palestine does?
And I think we have someone from the union with us, right? Hi, Cyrus.
Do you want to briefly?
Hey, y'all.
Do you have
How you doing? It's a pleasure.
Partner?
Yes, I just texted Abbas, our on-the-ground partner with the Palestinian Farmers Union, so he can join our conversation. Freedom for Palestine, we're a small nonprofit that plants sustainable olive tree farms. We call them Freedom Farms in the West Bank in conjunction with the Palestinian Farmers Union. They are our partners on the ground. Our Freedom Farms are They're small, sustainable 2.5 acre farms with 250 olive trees. They are irrigated and they are fenced for the protection of both the trees and the farmer. And these particular farms are agents of so many things. They're agents of prosperity, of communal strength, environmental balance. Just by planting these farms, we also help Palestinian farmers hang on to land and making sure that Palestinian land stays in Palestinian hands. And also climate action. Because the cool thing about olive trees is they live for an average of 500 years, so that this becomes a real sustainability initiative as well.
And it's a symbol of resistance for all this time, right? This is a symbol of Palestinian resistance, planting olive trees
and as
reaffirming the connection to the land.
And as you see in the film, since the water in the West Bank cost up to 30 times more for a Palestinian farmer, if the land is not farmed, the Israeli have an extra good excuse to take it out if it's not farmed for 3 years. And a little thing I want to add, when we went to see your site, we realized that the person you feature on your website is in our movie. It's somebody we met when we were here by chance. It was Mutaz. It was completely, what? So it was this ancestral connection that brought us together as the two organizations. So as Cyrus was saying, the donation we receive from you, we will help plant olive trees in the West Bank. In addition to work with Ashira to build the school. So we need, Ashira, you talk about big angel, but we also need a lot of small angel, and each and every one of us can be a small angel. Each and every one of us can do some small little thing to make this insanity to stop. So yeah.
It's time to be active. Yeah.
Is Abbas here?
The thing about Mu'taz is his farm was my initial introduction to freedom farming. The Palestinian Farmers Union invented this wonderful model of how to do farming in the West Bank, which is, by the way, at a new low. Like, the level of agriculture in the West Bank has never been lower contribution to the GDP than it is right now. But the PFU invented this concept of farms that are fenced, that are supplementally irrigated, the number of olive trees, which is just right, so that Mu'taz's farm was the very first farm that they planted in this regard. And it was the first farm that I visited in the West Bank when I was there. That was my introduction to the wonder and power of planting olive trees. Mu'taz, I don't know if you know this, but he has a nickname.
We're running out of time.
The Lion of Jordan Valley.
We're really at the end of our time. So I want to just final words to Ashira again. We're at the end of our time. So thank you so much for joining us, and let us know if in the next minute or so.
It's already, we're out of time.
Yeah. If he joins us, we want to give his voice as well, hear his voice. And Ashira, a few people are asking if you can ever go back. I don't know if you have an answer.
I was looking at the questions, and I didn't want to answer. Inshallah, I will be able to go back, and yeah, there is a risk, but we'll see how things go. I won't let go of my land, yani, but I want to be here for my children, and yeah, I will try once I stop feeding. And I can take a risk and then see. Inshallah, by the time that I finish breastfeeding Yasin Ali, Palestine will be free. So, and I will be able to go back.
So we have a year.
We have a timeline.
Or a couple of
years. 2 to 3 years I breastfeed them. So, inshallah, ya Rab.
So let's work, all of us.
Yes, inshallah.
Well, Ashira, thank you so much for this incredible conversation, powerful, inspiring, and for bringing so many things together and touching our hearts with your strength and your clarity and beauty. You bring it, you weave it all. So thank you for
you guys for coming to Palestine. And thank you for
I don't know if we're going to be allowed to ever go back, but I would love to, because I have now this heart connection with the people we've met and with the land.
We will go back. The land seeks its people. Thank you so much for everything and for bringing this in, and for everything you've been doing since the beginning of this genocide. You've opened hearts and minds around the world, and that's not. It's big, and it makes a difference. Each and every one being present here today makes a difference. Every person shares, writes, talks, makes a difference.
Yeah.
We shouldn't think that our voices are not affecting.
Right. Yeah. Together we're strong. Yeah. It's not the individual that will make a difference. It's us together.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone who was with us here today. Please keep sharing the film with your communities and friends. We have also lots of screenings all over the world. I think now over 60, 70 screenings in the next 40 days. And we'll be here every morning with different conversations. Tomorrow, the conversation is dehumanization and ongoing Nakba in Palestine, with Shireen Sekali, Osama Magdisi, and Nathan Trau. It will be another very rich conversation. So we welcome you back and bring your questions.
Yeah. And maybe you can organize screening in your community, because the impact of the movie when you watch it with other people, I can assure you, is amplified. It's really a different experience. But
I want to echo that. Please share the documentary wherever you can and screen it. And if you're doing it in the US, reach out and I can also come visit you and do the screening together.
Oh, Abbas has joined.
Oh,
okay, let's just see Abbas just for a second. Okay,
sorry.
we're going to change the linear time here. And there is Abbas. Okay.
Unmute. There.
Hello, good afternoon, and good after evening from Palestine to all of you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Abbas. Do you want to describe very briefly the work of your organization?
We are the Palestinian Farmers Union that work for supporting the right of Palestinian farmers to stay, their right for resilience, their right for accessing their land, cultivating their land, generating income of that land. And we are the umbrella of all farmers across West Bank and Gaza. Unfortunately, now the situation in Gaza is very difficult, and the agriculture sector on most of the farms owned by our farmer members in Gaza have been completely destroyed. But inshallah, there will be a chance where we will rehabilitate and bring back hope to all our farmers in Gaza, who will re-establish their farms, and they will start producing fruits, inshallah, when this war will be over. And that will happen soon, inshallah. In West Bank, we work a lot on cultivating olive trees and establishing olive farms. As you may know, olive sector in Palestine is the largest sector where all people love and highly value the olive tree. It symbolizes peace, symbolizes love, symbolizes holiness. So all people love that tree and would like to plant that tree. It lasts strategically for hundreds of years to come. And the income that is generated is very good for all households. So we help our farmers cultivate and establish their olive farms. And for us, olive farm has different meaning. From one side, when we cultivate a land with olive trees, we protect that land from being confiscated or taken due to the complexity of the situation on the ground, the increase of settler violence against farmers' lands in West Bank. So cultivating that land makes it difficult for being confiscated. This is, playing with the already existing laws. And second, by establishing farms, we help farmers generate income for their household. And olive oil is one of the very important produce farmers are loving, interested in, and olive oil among Palestinian families is one of the basic need they all store during the year, and they like to eat every day. So it's a very important thing. However, the challenge was how we can cultivate olive trees and establish a farm that can grow up fastly and being protected. So we came up with this idea. My friend Cyrus mentioned model farms in the beginning. We started in 2018 with Mu'taz Farm in Jordan Valley, and we established that model farm. A model farm for us means a piece of land that is cultivated by olive seedlings and provided with internal irrigation network to ensure supplementary irrigation during the heat and the hot seasons in summer, and then fenced from all borders to protect that these lands and newly planted trees from wild animals and even from any attacks by settlers who are, occupying the surrounding settlements or so on. And this model farm was really successful. And based on the success we had with Mu'taz, we expanded in that area and established 15 model farms where Mu'taz farm is located. And year after year, we started to expand in other districts in West Bank. And now we already have 55 model farms that have been established.
Beautiful.
My colleague Cyrus, my friend, came to Palestine and had his tour and did that wonderful, amazing, great documentary video about cultivating peace and resilience through cultivating olive trees. And we started this partnership with Freedom to establish our Freedom Farms, what we call them now, Freedom Farms. And we so far finished with two Freedom Farms owned by two women farmers. And we are now working on another 3 ones to come, inshallah.
Okay, thank you, Abbas. Inshallah, let's hope it's gonna work. Thank you. Support your vision. Yeah.
May continue.
May continue, and let's hope.
Protect the land and the resilience that is connected. Palestinian resilience is connected to the trees, is connected to the land, to the water. So thank you for your work, and we will do our best to be a partner and support you.
So that's the let's try to Ashira, the second closing.
Anything,
Close one.
if you
Closing,
have any
take two.
final words.
One word.
Right. Ooh, the olive trees are our life. If what he said about the olive trees and resilience, we are rooted in that land, just like those olive trees.
Yeah.
So keep planting olive trees, we're gonna stay there. We just keep expanding and growing.
Inshallah. Okay. So
Thank you, Ashira. Thank you, everyone. This conversation will continue for another 20 days, so keep tuning in. And Ashira will be with Gabor Mate in Auckland on June 25th. We're trying to add another screening.
This is already sold out.
But if we open, that will allow another 600 people to join. So tune in if you're local to the Bay Area, or check our website for all the screenings that I'm sure there will be something near you.
And if not, you should organize one.
That's right. You can, anyone can organize.
It's easier than you think, honestly. It's easier than you think. Okay, we have to go.
Blessings, everyone. Blessings.
Thank you. Salam.
We see each other very soon.
Ciao.